You're listening to another episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, here we are again, dadgummit. And today I'm here with Greg Williams of Schooley-Mitchell. He's going to talk about how he can save you money and make your businesses more effective, efficient, and profitable. And again, we've known Greg now for about 2 years. This is the second time on the show. We're BNI friends as well. And
right.
We talk a little about that. Talk about he also is a world-famous jazz musician. Well, I don't know about world famous, but he is a jazz musician.
I don't even know that I'd qualify myself that way.
Okay, what do you
I do
play
play
again?
some bass and some jazz.
Yeah, right. But we talked about it last time here. Gosh, it's been about close to a year. I think it was last summer.
Yeah.
And we supposed to talk about your business. We talk about music the whole time, which is fine.
Yeah.
And he and Taylor getting this complex conversation about mics and all this equipment. How you doing, Taylor? You get your Tesla back?
I'm doing great.
And just
AC is cold.
Well, that's good.
How are you doing?
I'm beat. I have to get up earlier. School starts for me this week. So everybody's very sympathetic to that problem. When I go in and tell my friends, "Oh, school's starting again," like, "Oh, really? I mean, after 2.5 months of sleeping in, you have to get up, cry me a river." No, I'm very fortunate. I really enjoy teaching at Hill and at DBU, and so it's indoor work with no heavy lifting and air conditioning. So what am I complaining about? But I know the parents, what's really funny is because the kids, when they get the kids in the summertime, they talk about, all the stuff they're going to do. And by mid-June, they say, when is school starting again? That kind of thing. Of course, you don't have to worry about that. Your kids are out of school.
Yeah.
And how long it'll be before little Arlo goes to school? About another couple of years?
It'll be a couple, 3 years, something like that.
Yeah, well,
we'll see.
You'll worry about that when it happens. Okay, we're going to run through the first round of sponsors here while I share this with the vast listening audiences on the various pages. And let's see here. It's kind of like doom, doom, doom. There you go. You rock and roll. All right, CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. Sorry. It's a really good place to get really good, conditioned workout. It's not a place, for the casual workout folks, but it's not it's not some militant joint either, because I know some of the people that go there. But CrossFit is a thorough workout, and so they have the equipment, they have the plans, they have the programs, and they have the supervision you would need to have this type of workout. So give them a look at their CrossFitBurleson.com page, and they tell you about the classes, the plans, the cost, whatever else you're interested in, and give them a holler if you're interested in that kind of workout. Also, if you're looking to move into this area, you need to talk to Shandy, because Shandy Stogsdill Group will help you with all the rates and all the hassles of buying and selling a house. I mentioned before last month she helped sell my daughter's house, and I would have been as lost as a goat if I had to do that by myself. I don't see how these people that do these things on their own do it unless they just had natural training for it or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
I wouldn't want
They
to
like going through pain more than I do.
Yeah, well, and it's just you need somebody to hold your hand and tell you it's not the end of the world if it's delayed a day, which happened more than once in the process. Yeah. Also, a friend Otto at our place, which everybody knows Otto at our place. I was there last Thursday with a group from my Sunday school class, and we do that every other Thursday, and they take really good care of us. We get the same waitress nearly every time, and so she already knows what we want. And that's a good thing to do. It's that kind of place. You walk in and she knows this guy wants a Denver omelet and this guy wants, some sort of meat dish. And she knows I want the standard breakfast, things like that. It really works out well. So Auto at our place, check it out on the highway and Allsbury. Also, check out another place if you're looking for a different kind of experience. Greg and I have both been here. Wild Cigar and Culture. Have a smoke, have a drink, have a conversation. It's on over at the Standard. If you yourself may not smoke cigars, you probably know somebody who does, so you can get gift cards, and it's Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
That's as they say. But anyway, it's a really good place, and I've gotten to know Chris's partner, Nathan, and he's a very fine man too, so it's been a good experience. Our friend Tiffany over at Local Life, she's hard at work at the September issue. The other one is out, the one for August. Now, she's a client of yours, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How long ago did she become one?
Not quite a year ago. About a year ago.
Well,
like that.
we talk about clients and whatnot. We talk about the ongoing experience or whatnot. But she's a client, and when I talked to her about it, she said she was pretty happy because she saved money that she didn't have before. She didn't know where she was losing money. And that's the whole point of our conversation today,
Right.
with Schooley-Mitchell, is you may be losing money that you don't even know about. So
Yeah.
also kind of a shout out to Cody O'Brien at the Burleson Buzz. I became a subscriber this past weekend because he has a lot of good news stories for the area. He really is working hard at making this like a news blog for the community. He had articles not just about the Cleveland Railroaders, but also articles about city council business, about what's going on there, school-related business, things of that nature. So if you really want get an idea of what's going on in the community, check out Burleson Buzz, and the subscription rate is very, very affordable. So check it out. Okay, first of all, talk about yourself. How long have you been? Well, first let's talk about what Schooley-Mitchell does, and then how long you've been with them.
Schooley-Mitchell is the largest independent cost reduction firm in North America.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people.
It does if you own a business.
It does. Folks, it took me a long time to figure out. People say, what do you do? And I'd tell them what I mean, cost reduction.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go on, because that didn't really go anywhere. But in essence, we help our clients make good decisions about their expenses.
Right. And you check out their vendors, you check out who provide services to them, and making sure they're getting the best deal. And
Right.
I'd think any business would be interested in that, large or small, because the way I know how you structure y'all's payments is that it's all based on savings, not based on some preset upfront fee.
Right. There's no cost. There's no risk to them. We assume the risk on the front end.
Well, you were telling this one about one of my former sponsors and still a good friend, Michelle Humphrey over to Hotworks. Mm-hmm. You worked with her, right?
Yes.
And you found out she actually pretty much had it as good as it's going to get, right?
Yes. She's part of a franchise. They had a very good structure in their merchant service fees, and we couldn't save them any money. And she ended up with a complete audit. She felt comfortable after that. She was concerned. She's a very good business
absolutely.
lady.
Absolutely.
And wonderful person. And she was really concerned about how much she was having to pay in fees. And we ended up putting her mind to rest because her fees were good.
And so she got a free audit, basically.
Free audit. She didn't cost her anything, and
no bill coming later. Because now, if you had saved her some money, then there's another. We can talk about that in a minute about how that works out. But since she didn't have needed your services, in fact, she got. I think that's a pretty good deal. She got an audit without having to go through the pain and hassle of one.
Right. And it didn't take a lot of time. I mean, our initial conversation was probably 25 minutes. I got the information, sent it to our analyst group, and our analysts are wonderful, super folks, and they specialize in their areas. And they gave me a report back, and I brought it to her, and she was thrilled.
Taylor, do you have the brochure or the logo for this? I believe Greg sent it to us. There it is. Yes. Yeah. And so walk me through this. Okay, so I'm a business. I mean, some size. It didn't have to be a large business though, but maybe it could be a small 3 or 4 employees, or it could be, a big giant one, like Great Foods down south of us or something like that.
Right.
Walk us through the process.
Okay. Initially, we need to set up conversation with the decision makers. And once we're in with them, I get a feel for the business. I find out what expense categories that we specialize in really mesh up with their operations.
Do you do this prior to the meeting, or do you do it at the meeting?
I do a lot of research before our meeting. So I'll go out and look at their website, take a look at their industry, what they're doing. So I get a pretty good feel for what their expenses are, but at least the categories. And then I'll ask them a little more specific information. Sometimes that uncovers cost areas that I didn't consider, and I go in with a whole holistic solution approach. Sometimes their hot button might not even fall within our expense categories, and that's happened before. I had a business in Tyler that does striping on highways. They paint the stripes out on highways. Their biggest hot button was how much they pay for parts. Now, we could still help them with other expenses, but it turned out that I came across in our business ventures that someone who does what I do for companies that are looking for parts. So they'll go out and research manufacturers, so I could connect those two together to find them a solution there.
Well, but we should know, they should know, the listening audience here, is that you don't have like a preset of vendors that you refer them to as such. I mean, you don't have like contractual relationships with these type of providers. You get them the one that provides the best service.
Well, yeah, we actually bring them options. We'll bring their current vendor in, but we have data on all the top vendors in a region. We know what businesses of certain sizes should be paying for their expenses. We know what vendors are coming into the market that are competing for those. And one thing you'll see on here is we are not affiliated with any vendors. We bring them to the table to compete.
But that's what I think maybe people are listening to us maybe having this preconceived idea that you're representing these other vendors, and you're not. You're representing Schooley-Mitchell and the company that you're dealing with, but you're not representing this particular point of sale operation, this particular credit card operation, phone service, whatever else we're talking about here. You know,
we actually represent the client.
The client is your whom you're focused on, not trying to get certain companies' sales.
Right.
Okay, I think that's a point of emphasis I'd like to make, is because a lot of people think that you're going to come in and say, you really need to use XYZ company. And no, you know, they may not be as good for that particular company as ABC company here.
Right.
And the client will make those decisions.
And we will vet every vendor that we bring in for a category. And so with one company, where they may qualify for 3 or 4 different cost categories. Well, we'll meet and we'll focus on one at a time, and it might be in the same meeting, but we may bring together 7 different vendors that qualify. We'll only present 3. Just there's no reason to present all of them, and we let the client choose. They may choose to change vendors and pay a little more for someone who can give better quality service because they don't like the vendor that they're using, or they may be willing to pay more to stay with their vendor because they like the service
or the personal relationship maybe with the vendor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And when there are changes, even with their current vendor, they know that we're bringing in the competition. They know Schooley-Mitchell. A lot of folks don't know Schooley-Mitchell, but they know us, and we negotiate those prices down for them. We know, or for the client. And even if they stay with their vendor, they're going to have a good chance of having reduced rates. There's sometimes that their vendor goes, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to drop anything. We'll bring in other vendors, and it's up to the client. We don't push them to go either way. Then they just sign off. They give authorization. We take care of we don't say this is who you should go with and here's how you do it. Fill out these forms. We have authorization to speak on behalf of the client, and so they just sign off an authorization. We take care of setting everything up for them.
See, in my mind, I'm thinking mostly you're talking about how a company deals with outside their company. You don't grind into their human resource costs or their overhead operating, do you?
No. Now, if they want that, I have folks that can do that for them. Yeah. Not in Schooley-Mitchell, but no, we don't get into their books. We don't do it. We work strictly off invoices.
So you're not asking the client to basically expose all their financial secrets and whatnot, and all their cost and their profit and loss statements. And so that has nothing to do with what you're doing. It's you basically. I'm also in my head, I'm thinking you're dealing with the phone company, you're dealing with the credit card people, you're dealing with the, website people, shipping, trucking, whatever else.
Right.
And you're talking about all these other outside relationships, and you come in and say, okay, are you getting the best deal or not?
Right.
And And okay, so let's say that you find I can get better phone service. Okay, and I'd sign for your authorization to go and deal with the various phone service providers.
Right.
Basically, I just what comes to me next, I just let you do the voodoo you do, and then you come to me and say, we think this company is your best one. Do I have to go set it up with them, or do you already done that?
We take care of that.
You take care of all that. So basically, I'm just signing it and waiting for my phone service to switch over, right?
Right.
Okay.
Now, I have had where I'm working remotely. I've got a client in Minnesota, I'll use for example. They had some hardware that needed to be switched out. Now, it was easy enough for them. They had somebody there that handled their equipment. If I needed to, I could have gotten somebody there to swap out. Actually, it turned out to be routers, but wasn't that big a deal. But we handle that. We do handle all the paperwork, all the setup, and we monitor that. It's not a one-time thing. I usually set up businesses on 3 months review because particularly merchant services and even phone companies can let things creep into the bills.
Oh, really? I'm stunned.
I don't know if you've ever had an error on your phone bill.
No, but I've, it's like you start off with a provider of some sort, and you find the cost just kind of drifts up a little bit, and like our TV provider and that kind of stuff. I start at one rate, now I'm like $10 more a month. Like, that was nice. At least I got an email about it. Taylor, you have the video clip. Let's run that, and then we can talk about it some more. He's got thumbs up, so
all right,
we have a nice little video clip here for you.
Okay, let's say this is you. Maybe you're in charge of the department that manages that company's finances, or you're in charge of an IT team that does important stuff. Either way, Schooley-Mitchell can help. Since 1998, we've helped businesses save an average of 28% on their various business expenses. When combined, these services often represent 15 to 20% of a business's expenses. And most companies have several vendors they have to manage, making things complicated. Schooley-Mitchell can act as a single point of contact to manage all these relationships so you can focus on what you do best. And we do it with complete objectivity. We have no ties to any of the vendors or processors. In fact, 80% of the time, our recommendations entail no supplier change. Our service is truly an everybody wins situation. If we can save you money, our compensation is a percentage of your savings. The rest goes to you. If we can't save you money, you just received a free independent audit of your services.
Oh, that cut up and snuck by me here. I thought I had a little bit more to go. Anyway, because I got a message here from wife. Sorry I missed your call, kind of thing. But anyway, what I liked about that, the two things I've seen that video before, and what I liked about it is the fact that it really is, for the most part, risk-free. Basically, all it's going to cost the client is about 30 minutes of his or her time.
Right.
But and the fact that if you don't save them money, then you're good. You got a free audit. And so, but let's say how you do get paid. I mean, you're not doing this just out of the goodness of your heart, which we know you're a good guy, but but how do you get paid?
Okay, so once we set up a business, their cash flow improves immediately on their next statement. And so they get benefit for 3 months. After 3 months, we'll come back with an audit. It's an audit report. Post-audit report's what we call them. And it's very similar to what we present when we're giving the client the options to choose. At that time, in the beginning, we set a baseline based on usually 3 months of invoices. And that baseline is what we work on to show savings. If it's a cyclical business, we'll go through a year, or we'll include busy months that, a lot of businesses, Christmas time is the big time. And so we want to include those months in setting up their benchmarks. And in 3 months, I'll come back to the client and with a full report that's going to show all the detail compared with the baseline that shows their savings. And then that savings amount they've already realized the savings because they're not paying out what they were before. Instead of paying $1,000 a month or $500 a month, we'll say $500 a month for whatever, if it's merchant service fees, or that's kind of low, but then they're only paying $250. So we split the savings, and I'll invoice them for half of the savings at that time, and I also show them what they've saved, and that goes on for 3 months. And in that process, we don't just save them on pricing. We review all their bills and make sure there's no billing errors. And I don't know if you've ever tried to get a billing error corrected from AT&T.
Oh Lord! Well, I'm thinking of another provider, not phone
I shouldn't
service.
have brought up.
That's fine.
Forgive me.
No. Well,
I'm
no.
not. I'm just an example.
Oh no, it was a medical company.
Yeah.
And my goodness, that was like pulling teeth.
Oh yeah.
So basically, you get this 3 months worth of savings, and that's half of that is your invoice to them.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And how long does that relationship last?
Usually we set up a 3-year agreement. I like to show a projection of 5 years, because at the end of the 3 years, they're still going to realize those savings. So instead of a 50-50 split, which it is during those 3 years, but if you take it out over 5 years, it's really a 70-30 split.
They get the 70. Let's be clear.
Yeah, they get the 70. They get to keep most of it, and from then on out, they keep. And we have a very good retention rate or renewal rate. We set up a different setup for renewing.
So basically, you come to my business and you say I could save you all these different areas, or at least that's our hope. And then it's okay. Here's the invoices and bills from these various companies.
Right.
And you give it to your analyst team.
Right.
Where are they at?
They're in Stratford, Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So
we keep them cooled off.
yeah. Well, they're not overseas. Okay. And
No.
And they're at least in this continent. And so anyway, and so they analyze the stuff. So well, and got these 8 or 9 areas, and this one is okay, but these others we can save them money on.
Right.
And they give it back to you, and you go back to your client and say, these are the areas in which you could save money. These 2 over here are fine, but these other 7 maybe it could be improved on, and here are some vendors in those areas that can help you improve.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the choice on any of those things is still with the client.
It's all up to the client. The client can say, well, I want this one, but these others I don't want to.
Well, like this one I'll take, but this one here is my brother-in-law, and so I'm going to keep that one, and that kind of thing. And so and then once you've made the decisions and they've signed off, how long does it take after that, maybe, to get all that worked out?
To get it implemented?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on, like trash removal, waste removal, that kind of stuff. It's real quick, real quick. With merchant services, if there's a change, that may take a week or so, a couple of weeks to get that set up. Now, the analysis time, it may take, depending on the size of the business and complexity, may take a few weeks before the analysts come back. And we don't wait. If they're doing 3 or 4 different categories, we're not going to wait till they're all ready to go. As soon as one team has theirs ready, they send it to me. They say, hey, we're ready to go with waste management or with fuel or whatever. And I'll set up a time with the client. The client can wait. They can wait. They can say, hey, let's wait until we get a couple of them together. Or the briefing to go through the results really doesn't take very long, and we can get things turned on right away. And sometimes it could be a phone call. If it's for how much detail do you want to know that I'm going to save you money on your trash pickup, and that can be substantial. If it's medical waste, if it's industrial waste, toxic waste, we have competitors that come in and take care of that, and that could, depending on the business, can be a lot of money. So I don't want to downplay the waste, but it's pretty quick because it's just you're signing over to who's going to pick it up, and that's pretty quick turnaround.
So basically the business owner is not going to be inundated with 9 decisions to make at one time, unless that's what they choose, I guess. But you could come in over the period of a couple of months and say, here, this is your merchant services, or here's one about parts and issues and other stuff, and just do it piecemeal at a time.
Yeah,
and can make decision one at a time.
Yeah, and they can schedule it out to fit their.
From what it sounds like to me, you'll make the initial call and set up the appointment, and you probably obviously will tell them, here's what I will need to make your time go quicker, and you want the invoices for these various areas. And probably what you've described, your meetings with these clients, half an hour, 45 minutes initially, and after that, it's pretty brief. Yeah.
Now with telecom changes, there may be an hour or two, because I'll go around, we need to know the equipment that's being used, and the quickest way is to take pictures of their routers, their phone setup and everything, so the analysts can do an apples-to-apples comparison. We don't want them to lose any functionality in what they've got, and they're pretty good. If I leave something off, they'll come back and go, hey, we need to know about this, and I'll collect that information. So that might be another hour, maybe 15-minute call here, 15-minute call there to get information. But there's not a lot of time. And usually that's not with a decision maker. That's with whoever deals with their phone system or their bills.
Right. What kind of business have you found to be most in need for this?
Wow. Across the spectrum, there are a lot of businesses. What I focus on right now, I'm looking at manufacturers. I'm looking at auto repair, body shops, those kind of things, and then I also look at smaller businesses that are just retail.
Retail, okay. I was thinking
retail
that is pretty useful for that too.
Yeah. So in Burleson, I find a lot of retail shops that have their own trash bin. In these strip malls, you'll see trash bins lined up, and they may even have their name on there. I can help them, maybe $100, $200 a month, but that's
adds up.
It does for a 15-minute.
Well, it does
sign off.
Also for the fact that most of these small businesses operate in pretty thin margins, and a couple $100 a month means something.
Right.
A lot of people think a business owner, basically just sits around counting money, and I don't know anybody like that. Everybody that I know owns a business, certainly in the initial stages of a business. They put in a lot of hours.
Oh yeah.
You may get some business that's been around here like 30 years, and maybe the original owners maybe can step back a little bit, but they didn't. That wasn't the way it was at the beginning. So I want to take a little detour here with second run of ads with our BNI friends. Greg and I are both members of the BNI network here, and I think it's worked out pretty well. So we'll talk about some of our friends here. Gala at Southern Gym, yes. Have you been to the new location downstairs?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, take Jenny there. It's dangerous, isn't it?
Well, actually, I have taken her there, but yeah, it's sparkly.
Yes, well, she's got a lot going on. Christmas time is coming, and you think, well, it's so cotton picking hot, and it's August, and who's thinking that? When you're thinking about this type of gift, you want to give it some thought. You don't want to run in there December 23rd and see what's left. I mean, a lot. She asked us at the last meeting, and asked me also as a sponsor, to emphasize you need to be looking for these kind of things in September and October.
Yeah.
All right, because you may need it sized, you may need it changed a little bit. You might want to have something repaired, and you want to give it time so you can make sure that you open it up on Christmas morning and see the look on your loved one's face.
That's right.
And so she would hope that if you're thinking about this, which she hopes she does, that you be thinking about it more than just right after Thanksgiving.
And the design work that she does when people bring in heirlooms and they want to do something with them, she does some really fabulous work.
And she gets customers from a long way off just for that.
Yeah,
I mean, it isn't just locals, but I was in the store, and I've only been in a couple of times, but when I was there, they had this couple come in from Colleen. So they'll come for the good stuff. Also, another friend of ours, somebody well, John Williams, Old Pro Roofing. You're familiar with John, I assume?
Yeah, he's written some very nice music.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Obviously. Yes. Okay. No, this is Greg's son.
Yeah.
He is at Old Pro Roofing, 817-734-2756. He's going to show next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow. So, and think, wow, roofing, is that going to be an exciting topic? It is when your roof's caving in. It's exciting. Not in a good way, but there you are. So he came out to my house about a month ago after that big hailstorm, and he gave me a clean bill of health. And so I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't fret or stress about my roof anymore. And he said, no, you're good. And if it was needing a repair, he'd do it. But he wasn't trying to upsell me, and I appreciated that very much.
Yeah.
So 817-734-2756.
And he works with your insurance companies to make sure that you're properly.
Yeah, man, he'll tell you that one of the best companies to work for is our friend Melissa's company, Texas Farm Bureau.
Well, there she is.
Yeah, 682-804-0534. She just sold my daughter some insurance last week, saved her some money. I mean, saved her a decent amount of money on her auto insurance. And she checked mine out. And I had an insurance company, and they were okay. I mean, I didn't have any issues with them. But it's kind of like you with the Schooley-Mitchell thing. You check out businesses that think they're okay, and you find out, oh, really, I could have been saving money all this time. And this is what happened with Melissa. She checked out my home insurance and cars and whatever, and ends up I have increased coverage for less money. And then I got some life insurance, which my wife kept asking for more. I mean, higher. I mean, you're making me uncomfortable, Robin. But anyway,
well, she is working with Gala, so maybe
yeah, right. She's some jewelry there, but Melissa will check your coverages out, make sure you get the best deal. So I guess you and her are in similar businesses, aren't you?
Yeah.
And she's so funny because she really loves insurance. We kind of tease her about being like Flo and Progressive because she really enjoys insurance.
Well, she sees where the rubber meets the road, where
she told
some folks aren't covered, and that's a big deal with Melissa. She'll let you know.
Yeah,
and she won't overcover you.
No, she won't upsell you, and that's always a good thing. People need to know that because they deal with various companies, and they think they're getting upsold, and they're not. And neither is Old Pro, neither are you, for that matter. I mean, that's part of the B&I ethic, I guess. And also part of that would be our friends Lisa and Morris Smith.
Great.
And how, when did they get it right?
The first time.
First time, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because she got us well trained. and she's in a similar related business. She's done business with John and Melissa. That's one of the values of B&I. I mean, they're working together in little groups. And for a little B&I commercial, if you're an HVAC or plumbing or electrician, we could use you in our group. Because we've had people like that in the group, and they moved on either because their company moved on or they themselves personally got into another career and moved on. So we have HVAC, electrician, and plumber would be more than welcome. Painters as well,
right?
Come to think of it. But anyway, Morris and Lisa will help you out when you have some sort of disaster in your home, water damage, fire damage, environmental hazards. She's talked about when they found somebody passed away and no one noticed for about 2 weeks. It's not just unfortunate; it's also a hazard, and they're trained to deal with it. Trained to deal with the mold issue, which is not common. You have to be certified for that. So, if you have a need for restorations, Lisa and Morris will take care of you very well.
Fantastic folks.
They really are, aren't they? And here's the newest sponsor, Candy Gal.
Candy.
Yeah, she's going to be on Thursday. We're going to talk about interest rates. She's with U Mortgage. They're here in town. Now, her number is 817-925-2661. They're here in town. They're in the B&G complex in that standalone tall building on the south end of the parking lot. And she will help you find their best mortgage rates. She doesn't work for a mortgage company. She works for all of them in a sense. It works for the client, similar to you. She'll find the best deal for you as opposed to trying to sell their companies. So she'll have a lot for you to choose from. Now, I have used her twice before in previous stops in her career. She and her partner, Sammy Jo Campbell, have been doing this for a long time in this area. So Candy's been doing it in the Burleson area I first met her about 20 years ago. So is that about right? Yeah, it was mid-2000s, yeah. So that's getting close. So I can vouch for her, not just as a really decent and kind person, but as a very strong professional.
Yeah. and she comes up with options. Interest rates are higher right now. Folks are a little skittish about that, but she has ways of finding dollars to help.
Well, this period reminds me when we first moved into our house. Rob and I built a house and we're still living in it in 1991, and the rates were 9%. But they came down, and we refinanced, and we refinanced a little bit when we needed some money for college money, and also we refinanced again for some repairs and upgrades on the house. And the second and third time we used Candy, and if I have to do it again, which I don't, hopefully I don't, but if I have to do it again, I will. Yep. Or if I need to buy a new house, I'll have Shandy sell it to me. I'll have Candy do the mortgage.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So that's how it works. And that's one of the benefits, I think, of BNI for us, is that not only we know these people professionally, but personally, and they're really decent people. And we can vouch for them, not just as professionals, but, what kind of character and integrity they have.
Absolutely.
And it makes it easier, doesn't it?
Yep.
That's what I like about my sponsors, and I'm not just shining them up. I mean, it really is easy for me to come here and endorse all my sponsors because I know them, and I know that they're going to be dealing with their customers, clients with integrity, professionalism, enthusiasm, whatever you want to say. Bill, a little bit more back on Schooley-Mitchell before we'll talk about music later.
Okay.
But how did you get involved in this? Because like I kind of been hinting at, and the last show talked about, you had a music background. How did you get in Schooley-Mitchell?
Well, I worked for Alcon for 29 years and wanted to do something else, so I opened a music studio. And COVID came along, and the studio wasn't growing fast enough to beat through that, so I shut that down and started going back into the corporate world, and really didn't want to. I had a taste of that entrepreneurial freedom. Yeah,
right. Going back to Alcon, which I'm sure is like most corporations, very regimented and bureaucratic.
It's a wonderful company, and it was really great. We got bought out, and we got very, very busy and working very hard. And I got an opportunity to move on, but fabulous people at Alcon. I loved working there. That was a great career. But I started looking at going, what am I going to do now when I shut down the music studio? And I got contacted by a career coach, and he presented me with some franchise options.
What other options did you have besides this one?
Oh, I could have gone into another IT franchise, and I thought, no, it's a lot of hours, it's a lot of work, and could have gone into spraying for mosquitoes, which was that's a good business through the springtime. Some private school options, those kind of things.
Private school, really?
Well, small, yeah, it was a small, like
teaching music.
Oh no! This was, I forget the company. It was for kindergarten, maybe first couple of years.
You mean operating a school?
Yeah. That
no, thank you.
That wasn't
no, no thanks.
Wasn't my tree. So I think there were several, and then finally he came to me with he understood my analytical background and all, and said, "Let me show you one that's kind of new to us." And although Schooley-Mitchell's been around 25 years, and they just started handling connecting folks, and it really looked good to me. And I got to talk with quite a bit with Dennis Schooley, who started it, and he's a tremendous guy. I could talk about him for quite some time, but that's how I got into Schooley. Was it looked like something where I'm helping people. I don't have anything to sell. I'm not a salesman kind of guy who goes out there and...
You're not the kind of goes pounding the doors, huh?
Yeah. So I offer services that I think are really good for businesses, and the more I've worked in it, the more with BNI, with the Chamber of Commerce, meet some great people in business here in Burleson and in the area.
Now, I would imagine, a lot of these business owners probably get their phone rings off the wall with prospective customers or people that offer your services or offer some of the services or whatever.
Right.
How do you break through that? Because I know there's got to, initially, unless they've heard of Schooley-Mitchell, which not a lot of people have, maybe in the business world they do, but not the general public maybe. How do you break through that initial wall of resistance? Because they probably think, oh gosh, here's another guy trying to sell me something, or solicitor.
When I first got into Schooley-Mitchell and saw it, I was going, this is a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. This is going to be great. I'm going to go in and help people save money and no risk, no cost. What's the objection? And I wasn't getting anywhere. Mm-hmm. And that's one reason I got into BNI. Mm-hmm. It's stressed. We are a referral business. We are professionals. It's like accountants, lawyers. They're heavily referral based type business. I came to think after a while, these guys that make decisions for their businesses, especially business owners, they hear about the best mousetrap every week. Mm-hmm. And they bought a few of those best mousetraps that didn't work. And so the trust level has to be there. So that's where it's difficult for me to just walk in some place and talk to somebody. So I meet people at as many functions as I can. B&I is great. The Chamber of Commerce, but getting to meet people and then them knowing me, and a lot of times working off that borrowed trust of someone who they already know to say, hey, you need to sit down and talk to Greg.
Well, when you come up in the B&I meetings every Wednesday, we all do this. We say what we're looking for in a customer, client, et cetera. And you say, I need to know Mr. So-and-so over at this particular business with your little burning money card there you have that you're well known for now. But anyway, you get up there and you say, okay, I'd like to talk to Mr. So-and-so at this particular business. And hopefully one of us knows, and I've known some of them, and I've, trying, even though with the recommendation, you're going to have to overcome that initial reluctance because, like you said, they've been sold a lot. Yep. But, they also should understand, and I think they do, is that they're in a similar thing. They're there to make money too, and they probably have to break through their walls of resistance to get their product out and that kind of stuff. Yeah. But as far as, the reputation of Schooley-Mitchell, it's top notch, right? Yeah. It's not. This isn't a fly-by-night company. This isn't something that came up last week. And so, the people that listen to the show that have businesses or know somebody that has a business, they really ought to consider looking at you because, like I said, it's a free service to them, and it saves them some money. And plus, I can endorse you 110% as a person, with integrity. There are no scams here, and I appreciate that. But it's kind of tough, it's tough for any business. Right. It takes a while to establish yourself. Yeah. And I would think, as much as it's going around here, much expense is being put into the building around here, there should be a great need for your service. By the way, do franchises, are they more or less or more is the best way to put it, available for your service? Or do they, because they're a franchise, they often find that door harder to crack?
Well, there are some categories we can't get into. Merchant services, a lot of times, for restaurant chains and all that, they've optimized, because what we do is not magic. It just takes time and expertise to go in and find those good prices and negotiations. But we can help them with their trash. We can help them with their telephone service, those types of things. One thing about Schooley is they're continually looking for what fits our model of us providing services on, it's not going to cost them anything up front. So we're adding services every year. This year we added less than truckload shipping, which we did small package shipping, but now it's less than truckload, so things that you ship on pallets. Uniforms for restaurants, for hotels, linens, those types of things. Office supplies is a very big, those U-line catalogs that you get in the mail. It's got all the packing for shipping and coffee and trash and those kind of things. So that's where we can help out many of the franchises in different areas.
Well, you and I both have to come up against the franchise thing because I've had several people, Schooley-Mitchell, one of them, said, "We'd like to sponsor your show, but our franchisers handle all of that."
Right.
And so, and that's just the way it is. I'm not losing sleep, and I'm obviously not missing any meals, so I'm not worried about it. But it just dealing with franchises is a different animal.
Yeah.
I found out.
Yeah. One area I'd like to bring up that we've just added, and we usually wait till the end of the year, but was just added recently, is that we are helping businesses connect with one of the largest companies doing the earned retention credit program for businesses that were open through COVID, 2021, 2020, 2021. You hear all these advertisements and people are concerned about it being a scam, and there are businesses out there scamming folks. They get your money up front, and they get your information, and then they can sell it. We vouch. We've vetted ERC specialists very thoroughly, and they've saved what was it? Forget how many, 35,000 clients already. I had that written down. Yeah, 35,000. They've saved $8.5 billion.
$8.5 million or billion? Billion.
And these are not government things where the government's giving you money. The business has already paid their taxes. This is a tax relief. These are your taxes coming back. And so if there are businesses out there that you haven't applied, you can contact me. We can pre-qualify you very quickly, and then we'll connect you with specialists at ERC specialists, and they handle everything, the legal part, the IRS, and all of that.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, up to $26,000 per employee.
I've heard that advertised on the radio actually a couple of times about, and they, firms saying, "Hey, contact us and we'll help you save X amount." And I've heard that number thrown out there before. I don't know if it's the same company I'm talking about, but I've heard it on the radio. But
that's the government. That's how much relief you get can get in taxes in the tax relief. So it's not a government. You're not getting government dollars. You're getting your dollars back that you've already paid in your employee.
Good heavens,
taxes.
that's a lot of money.
So I wanted to bring that up.
Well, good. I appreciate that. And lastly, we talk about music and all that. Are you still playing?
I am.
Yeah. What are you playing?
I played yesterday at church.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. That's quite the gig. But still, you playing like in local joints or anything like that?
No, we don't play clubs. Anything. We do some public events. The last public event we did was in Ruidoso, which is a long way.
Ooh, but yes, but at least that was not as hot, I would imagine.
It was nice getting up the next day, and I think it was probably 66 degrees. I just sat on the tailgate of a pickup and drank a cup of coffee, sitting there looking at the mountains, going, "I don't want to go back."
Yeah, I've heard it's really, really nice. I haven't been there, since I was a kid, so it's long time ago. Yeah. But what instrument you play? You play the bass, right?
Play bass.
And what kind of music?
This band's jazz swing.
Yeah, we need more of those. Yeah. I mean, I hope Burleson gets a venue that would feature that kind of music. Yeah. We have some live music places, and they're great. Our friend Susie Morgan plays a lot of them, and she's great. And but it'd be nice also to have something like what you provide.
Yeah.
So Maybe, I don't know. As Burleson grows, who knows?
Maybe we can do that. We can swing that.
Yeah. Yes. And on that note, where's that drum roll there? Did you give when I make those dumb jokes? There we go.
There it is.
Anyway, I'm going to let you have the last word because we're about done. So tell us in summary. Some people catch the end of the show before they catch the beginning of it. So tell us what you want to know in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, if you've got a business and you're feeling the pinch of inflation or increased costs, and you just want to improve your cash flow, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we can talk over the phone. We can do a Zoom call, or I'd be more than happy to come to your location. And I enjoy seeing businesses operate. Nonprofits, I also touch. Let's sit down. You just don't know what you don't know as far as whether you've got a good deal. We cut broker fees. You know, you may have a pretty good deal on whatever your shipping costs are, your merchant services, your waste disposal, your e-signature. We have a vast array of costs, and we'd like to save you money. Mm-hmm. I'd love to meet you. I enjoy meeting business people and talking with them about their business. I love Burleson and working with the folks here, and that's it.
How do they get in contact with you?
You can reach me at, you can give me a call. I better look this up because I'm nervous. I'm not thinking. 817-862-7174 is my office phone. I don't call that too much.
One more time. A little slower, too. All right.
817-862-7174. Mm-hmm. I knew I'd fumble that one because I don't call it. Mm-hmm. Or you can call my cell number, 817-412-1086.
What was that again?
817-412-1086.
Yeah, and give them a holler. You have a website also, or just maybe not personally, but Schooley-Mitchell certainly.
Yeah,
does.
you can look up Schooley-Mitchell, and I do have a website.
You do? Okay, good.
So it's www.schooleymitchell.com/gwilliams.
Okay.
You'll see that little video that you saw at the beginning of the show, and any information you can contact me there.
I hope to show, those of you who see the show or hear the show later or whatever, if you have a business, somebody that has a business, it's always a good thing to help out with the costs and expenses because, like I mentioned earlier, these companies, they cut it pretty close on the profit line. So if you could add $400 or $500 a month to the profit line without even doing much but just taking a 30-minute meeting, I think it's worth y'all's time, very much so. Yeah. And so, we'll see you on Wednesday, I guess, for the B&I meeting at 8:45 at Old South. Sorry, Otto. But I had to mention it.
Yeah. We like to go to.
No, well, when we and I visit together, we really like our place. Yeah. We're not knocking Old South. It's fine.
No, I eat there too.
Yeah, it's fine. It's great. But they're friends with Otto, and so it's no rivalry. But our place is where I like to do business. Yeah. So anyway.
So one thing I didn't give was my email. They're welcome to contact
Try that
me.
One then.
Greg.williams@schooleymitchell.com.
Greg.williams@schooleymitchell.com.
Right.
Well, it's been fun. I like talking business. I used to have a long time ago. I had a career in business, but it's been many, many years, and I don't miss it. But I still enjoy talking about it.
Yeah. Well, you help a lot of businesses.
Well, I hope so.
You do a lot of good for the neighborhood.
The neighborhood. Okay. Well, tomorrow I'm going to have Victoria on at noon. There you go again. Victoria's going to be on a new schedule because of the DBU classes and whatnot. So Victoria will be on. We're going to talk about some of the latest issues confronting the city council. And so if you have any questions or concerns, you can send them here and we'll visit about them. And then on 10 o'clock on Thursday, we'll have Candy Gow at U Mortgage talking about the interest rates because it's been very, very volatile. So thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you all next time.